one of the biggest corporate stories in the last few days has been announced by Apollo Hospitals, a move that has been welcomed by the street. And now we have a chance to understand the rationale and the strategy behind it. Here's what's been happening. Apollo Hospital will be demerging its omni-channel pharmacy and digital health business. This will take place in 18 to 21 months, and then the new entity will also be listed. It will unlock investor value, which is why you saw that run up in the stock price on the day it was announced. But what is the idea and the strategy going forward? To speak more on this, I'm pleased to be joined by Suneeta Reddy, MD of Apollo Hospitals. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. To us here at NDTV, we always love speaking with you. Let's just understand the thought behind this. When a lot of companies and hospital companies in the medical space are value adding and adding on businesses, you are looking at demerger as the way ahead.
Yes, so if you look at what we're doing, Apollo Healthco as it currently is in the retail pharmacy space and the online digital space. So being in a different business, which is largely retail and which is also digital, we required to really separate the company. And I think that with Advent coming in as a shareholder, this was imminent. Having said that, the rationale behind it, one is that, two separate businesses, two separate companies, and the second is the synergies will still remain because it's very crucial for us to continue to work with the digital funnel that currently Apollo Healthco has. If you look at the digital funnel, they have 120 million consumers, 40 million downloads, and they do about 900,000 transactions per day. So the synergies between capturing the volumes in the funnel is very important, and that does not go away. What goes away is the creation of a new company, which, if you look at the sum of the parts valuation, was not getting valued. The second part of it is to look at the fact that now with this new company, with this composite scheme, what are we achieving? We are moving Apollo Healthco omni-channel business into the new Apollo technology company. The second part of it is the amalgamation with KeyMed, which is the back end. And this adds huge value. Current revenue is over 7,000 crores. This is the second significant change that will add value to the company. And of course, Apollo Hospitals will still continue to own 17%. Over a period of time, post the 18 months, the front end of the company, which is AMPL, which is the pharmacies, which is very retail in nature, will be added to this new company. And with this, it becomes Indian owned and Indian controlled. So technically, you have two companies. One is Apollo Hospitals, which is not Indian owned and Indian controlled. And then you have the new company, which is Apollo Health Technology Company, which is Indian owned and Indian controlled, and moving beyond the sum of the parts valuation, as well as locking in the synergies that the digital space brings to Apollo Hospitals, which is, of course, the funnel for large volumes.
And that value unlocking is something that analysts and the street has recognized well. If you can give us a sense, ma'am, of what the leadership now looks like for both. What is this new entity going to be called? I'm sorry, I'm bundling up 2 or 3 questions, but around the same space. What is the leadership going to look like? When will it be listed, and what are we calling it?
So the new entity is going to be called Apollo Health Technology.
Okay.
And what does leadership look like? Clearly, Shobna Kamaneni will be the executive chairperson. Shobna is my sister and has really grown the pharmacy business and has started the digital. So she will continue to lead this. We have an excellent team of professionals who are part of this. And Suneeta Reddy, who is part of Apollo Hospitals, will also be on the board of the new company. And in addition to that, we have 4 independent directors, and of course, we have already got Advent as an investor who will now own 12.1% of the entity.
Okay, so that...
With regard to Apollo Hospitals, I'm sure you're already familiar with the team.
Yes.
We have a very professional team, and we continue to have Suneeta Reddy as vice chairman. I'm there as managing director, and Sangeeta also playing a role as joint managing director.
Okay. No, it's just amazing how the businesses are run. So, which is why I just wanted to highlight
Yes.
that point. And thank you so much for giving us clarity on that. I'm just going to ask you. So, on the listing timeline part, ma'am, do you want to come in 18 to 21 months to
Yes.
change all of these structures and listing post that?
Yes, 18 to 21 months.
Okay. Okay. Let me just come to the hospitals business for a second and what it looks like post this restructuring. One of the reasons that analysts are excited, the street welcomed it very well, was because of the value unlocking which was seen. And let me bring that down to the core margins of the hospital business versus the consolidated business, which is what we talk about every quarter. As a standalone, will we expect the hospitals business to see the 24-25% margin range going forward?
Yes, I think we clocked last 24-25, 11,280 crores of turnover with a 24.3% margin. We are quite optimistic that these margins won't go away. Of course, we're adding 4 new facilities by the end of the year, which will be just partially dilutive because, we have very, very strong cash flows. And in terms of growth, current growing at 14%, with the addition of the newer potential uplift in revenues of another 10% over the next 3 years. And of course, maintaining our ROCs, current ROCs of existing hospitals at 26%. But over a period of 3 to 4 years, this will be in excess of 20%. So I think there's growth, there's EBITDA growth, there is stability in margin, and new volumes coming in from the new company will definitely improve both EBITDA and improve margins.
In terms of, and I'm talking about hospitals now and the hospital business, in terms of expansion, I think it's safe to say among the listed players, the most aggressive expansion is with Apollo Hospitals. Some 4,300 odd beds is what you plan to increase. Are these going to be largely greenfield? Is this going to have a bit of a hit on EBITDA for some time while that expansion rolls out? If you can give us any color on that.
So the 4 hospitals that we're opening this year are brownfield. Kolkata was an acquisition which required some renovation. Gurgaon was an acquisition that required renovation. Sandhya Light was a building that already existed. Pune was an acquisition of 250 beds where we're adding 200. So in terms of, I think that these are brownfield. Further 3 years, 2 years later, we will be adding 2 greenfields, which is Wadley and OMR. I mean, another facility in Chennai, which is on that OMR highway, the new part of Chennai.
Okay. So in terms of the impact of that 8,000 crore capex spend on the profitability, do you see that as any kind of a concern, the financing of that? If you just can give us a sense there.
So in terms of profitability, our existing margins are at 24.3. We believe that better operating leverage coming from volumes in the existing will drive it to 25. Having said that, we are also looking at cost-cutting measures, which will save us 80 basis points. So while looking at 120 basis points loss from the new hospitals, there will be an 80 basis point saving from our current strategy. And we do believe that new volumes, operating leverage will contribute to this. Having said that, we already have very robust cash flow. So we're generating 1,200 crores of EBITDA. This is vastly different from the time when we last added hospitals, when we had only about 700 crores of EBITDA. Today we have 2,700 crores of EBITDA, and we have free cash flow of 1,200 crores. Debt equity ratio 0.2 of debt. So very strong balance sheet that
Yes.
will enable us to grow both organically and inorganically.
Just a couple of questions on Apollo Health Tech, if I may. You've talked about a 25,000 crore revenue target.
Yes.
How do you go about this? What is the strategy there? And is part of it, at least for the pharmacy business, adding more of own brands and own products?
It certainly is. I think if you look at, let me break it down for you. If you look at, each of the verticals, you can expect to see a 20% growth. And this 20% more than, as you talk about private label, currently 17.6% of revenues in the offline comes from private label. The strategy is to push private label both on online as well as through KeyMed, which is a completely new funnel. So as we look at the EBITDA going forward, when we reach currently moving from 16,239 crores to 25,000 crores, there is a clear visibility of 1,000 crores of EBITDA emerging from offline, from the pharmacy business, 700 crores from EBITDA from KeyMed, and very conservative 50 crores of EBITDA coming from the digital business. So clearly, I think that 2027 we have a very strong growth path ahead with profitability and huge growth in EBITDA.
And how will the insurance business have a big role to play? Because that is a fairly new addition, I
Yes.
think just about a month. How has that been doing?
So I think we've just started. We could look at 80 crores of turnover from the first year, and then move into profitability where the margin is 20%. So I think when I said conservatively 50 crores of EBITDA coming from that, insurance will be one of the revenue streams that will continue. And don't forget, 24/7 has 4 revenue streams. So I think that there's an opportunity to do so much more.
Surely. Exciting times ahead. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Suneeta Reddy there with all the details of the deal that has really unlocked value for shareholders. That's why that focus on Apollo Hospitals. Of course, some time to see that new entity list, 18 to 21 months is what they're talking about. Thank you so much.